Yeah, bang on. 1, 2. I'm just tapping your mic there. 1, 2, 3. Couple.
Well, hello everybody. You enjoying those sausage rolls? Right, thank you for being here today. You already know that both the Honourable Amy Adams and Honourable Nikki Kay have announced their retirements from politics. It's probably not a huge surprise to many of you because Nikki has been very, I think, very tied up in the deputy leadership role that she had with Todd Muller. She has discussed it with me yesterday that even though she absolutely supports the National Party and my leadership of it, she has decided that at this stage of her life is the time to move to another career. She is a wonderful person, and I have to say I feel extremely affectionate towards Nikki because she has put her heart and her soul into the role. And we have Amy Adams, and I discussed issues last night. Amy, as you know, announced her retirement last year, and she came back to fulfil a role for Todd Muller as the leader. Clearly that role is not there, although she was offered, as I know she's told you, a very high ranking and excellent portfolios. But Amy has considered it and thought at her stage, she's already announced she's going, her electorate has been reselected, and she will take this opportunity to move on with her first plan, which is to leave politics. I'm really pleased that both Amy and Nikki are making decisions that they feel happy with. I'm not so pleased that they're leaving, but I understand it. This is an incredibly difficult role as an MP and as senior MPs, and it is right that they make the right choices for themselves, and in Amy's case, for her family as well. And I respect that, and they have my eternal gratitude and respect for the way that they have behaved, particularly over the last week, or even few days. Can I now talk about what this now does? Last night I worked together with a team to put together the list for the rankings of the National Party and the portfolios. Every member of Parliament and National Party has been spoken to by me last night. It was quite a long night, actually, but it was good. It was a good night, and I am very pleased to be able to announce that Dr. Shane Retty, who, as sort of announced yesterday, would be the health spokesperson, is now ranked number 5 in the front bench. We have 3 new people in many ways. We've got Chris Bishop, has been a big promotion to number 7. He keeps his portfolios of infrastructure and transport, and he is now going to be used as shadow leader of the House. And I think that Chris is going to be fantastic in that role. He's an excellent debater, and he is someone who I think will relish it. And I'm sure Chris Hipkins will regret that. Todd Muller has agreed to serve on our front bench. I've spoken with Todd yesterday. He is going to have a couple of weeks off from the House, which I think we should all respect. He is feeling very, very happy with the trade portfolio, and he is keen to come back as soon as he is able to be part of our team at a senior level. You will have noticed that Simon Bridges has been promoted to number 4 and given the hefty portfolios of foreign affairs and justice. I've long been of the view that Simon should be justice, and he has clearly always wanted foreign affairs, and so he's got both. He's a very hard-working MP, and he's highly intelligent, and I'm absolutely certain he will play a very powerful role in the incoming national-led government. We will also see that Nicola Willis is a big mover in this caucus reshuffle. Nicola has now got the position of number 13. She has picked up education from Nikki Kay, and she has, as many will know, worked very well with Nikki over quite some time. When I asked Nikki Kay for her recommendation of who should have education, Nikki was absolutely adamant that Nicola Willis was the right person for the job. Happily, that coincided with my view, and so she has that role. She is an extraordinary person. Nicola Willis has, I have seen, been an incredibly hard worker. I have no idea how she does what she does. And she is highly intelligent and motivated. She'll be excellent as a Minister of Education. We'll also have seen that David Bennett has been promoted to the front bench at number 11 with a portfolio of agriculture, which he has now had for a couple of months. David Bennett is a senior national MP, and he has, by putting agriculture on the front bench, we are making it very clear to the rural and provincial New Zealand that we understand the importance of agriculture to our economy and to our country as a whole. There are other notable appointments. You will see that Dr. Nick Smith is back in Cabinet, Shadow Cabinet, and Dr. Nick Smith he has the most, let's say, tenacity that I think I've seen ever in politics, bar my own. And Nick has agreed to keep the current portfolios he has, other than the associate COVID-19 one, which has been displaced. And he now has drug reform. He will be assisted by Simeon Brown, who is taken on a couple of weighty portfolios. He's already shown that in a very short period of time, that with corrections, that he knows how to do opposition politics, and I know he'll be brilliant in government. Simeon picks up tertiary education and associate drug reform. He will be working with Nick Smith, and they will be great together. I think it's also worth noting that Hariti Hapango, the MP for Whanganui, has been promoted. She currently has had Crown Māori relations, and she's also had Māori tourism. She now has Crown Māori relations and treaty. Treaty is connected into that. It is being after all, the major area there of Crown Māori relations and treaty negotiations. She is now made the Shadow Attorney General, a role that I have recently held. Hariti has 30 years experience as a lawyer. She is someone who I have great confidence in, and 30 years a lawyer in courts, dealing with mental health issues, people of all walks of life and difficulties. She is the right person for that job. There are other changes which you may wish to speak about. We've already signalled Michael Woodhouse, still on the front bench, but with different portfolios, and happy to take any questions.
Amy Adams and Nikki Kay resigning, does that show that they just simply cannot work under your leadership?
No, in fact, they were both adamant that they could. Amy is very clearly... Well, no, they could, but Amy already had announced her retirement. She came back in to help Todd Muller in his role. Todd now has a new role, and I'm perfectly fine doing what I'm doing. And then we have Nikki. Nikki, as you know, has previously suffered cancer, and she has recovered from that. She is the bravest person I know, but she has found that the deputy leadership role has taken a big toll on her. And I think you all know how Nikki must be feeling with what has happened. But she is perfectly fine working with me. We've worked together for years, and I think she was just an outstanding Minister of Education.
How do you respond to the narrative? How do you respond to the narrative that this is rats and...
Were either of those MPs more complicit in the events of last week, the leak scandal, the impact within their...
Look, I have no reason to believe they were. I'm not, there's no issues there. Nikki, and to my point of view, Nikki and Amy were both valued. They were both asked if they wanted to be part of the team, and they've both made their choices.
Michael Woodhouse?
I don't know anything about that, and I've moved on.
What about Todd Muller? Did he stop?
Just to be clear, you asked them to stay on, you didn't suggest that they should leave.
I did not suggest they left. I have positions for them. However, with them leaving, there are also opportunities for other people. It has actually, to be frank, enabled me to bring through the talent of people like Nicola Willis with Nikki Kay's suggestion, and also the talent of someone like Chris Bishop.
How do you respond to that? How do you respond to the narrative that this is rats jumping off a sinking ship, that people don't believe National can win?
Oh no, I don't think so. I think it shows very much that they have great confidence that we will be winning, and that as a team that we value them. I just think that they are people who come and go in politics all the time, and I think in the average term for any MP is supposed to be about 4 years. They've both contributed hugely since they came in 2008. They've gone straight into very senior roles in Cabinet. They've done excellent work. I actually really, really like Amy and Nikki, not only as MPs, but as people.
Did you seek insurance?
Yes. I'm not going to go down the details, but Amy was offered senior role and senior position, very senior position, but Amy has already came to the conclusion that she wanted to leave, and that was a year ago. She came back for the sole purpose of the COVID-19 recovery to help Todd Muller in the role as a relatively new MP and one who hadn't been in Cabinet before. Todd, that's no longer needed. We've now moved into election mode, and Todd Muller will be an excellent member of this caucus, and he is going to be the Trade Minister in the incoming government.
And Todd Muller had the portfolio of small business, and he was right at the top of the list. Now that portfolio is being moved right down and lumped in with manufacturing. Are you worried that this is going to send the wrong signal to small business?
Well, I have spent, before coming to Parliament, 20 years at least in small business. There is nothing about small business that I don't take seriously, and manufacturing is part of that. I think anybody who knows anything about my background understands that there's one thing I know about small business. So I have taken only one portfolio, which is national security. The reason for that is so that I can range free and wide, and small business will know I'm with them and I'll be with them.
And promoting Todd Muller, did you second assurance from him that he didn't prevent Michael Woodhouse from coming clean sooner?
No, I didn't need to do that. The point is this: I've made my decision on Michael Woodhouse. That is my decision, and I'm not going to go and air it here. We've had our discussion. I've made my decision. That's it.
Except, doesn't Todd Muller have some questions to answer if he prevented Michael Woodhouse from coming clean sooner, if he prevented him from putting out that first statement on Thursday?
It's my decision. That's my decision, is that Todd has this role and that Michael Woodhouse has his role. Michael Woodhouse has a very senior role to play, and I have entrusted him with regional development, which is crucial. He has, as you know, an accounting background. He is going to be great in that role.
Why not seek that assurance from Todd Muller, though?
Because it's not necessary to be dealt with in the inquiry. There's a ministerial inquiry. No, I'm not going to go down that path, actually, Tova. There's a ministerial inquiry. Things will come out in that, no doubt, and I think I'm very, very confident in Todd Muller's integrity.
When you were asked recently to list your friends in politics, when you go back and look at that and you look at this list today, several of those names have been promoted. Is that the right way to do politics?
Well, I don't need to. I just happen to have a really good group of talented friends.
But has that helped when rising up through the ranks if they're mates to you?
Well, I'll tell you what, there are a lot of people who are my friends who will see have not been promoted in huge degrees, but there may be people who have been overlooked in the past by others. I am very happy with the people that I have promoted, and I'm very happy that there is a real balance. This is the first time I think you will have seen two former leaders of the National Party on the front bench with the current leader. Don't you think that says a lot?
Have you learnt from the past that keep your friends close and your enemies closer?
Oh, I think there's a lot of sayings I've learnt from. Thank you. Sam.
Why was Mark Mitchell fallen 6 spots?
Well, Mark has he no longer has the justice portfolio. That justice portfolio is, I think, better suited to Simon Bridges.
Are you penalising
Lawyer.
him for running against you in the legislature?
No, not at all. In fact, what I'm doing is trying to put together, well, I have put together a list of people with their various talents, their what I believe, what they can add value in, and that is what I've done. And I've done that, unlike Jacinda Ardern, I've done it in one day, actually one night, and I've spoken to every single one of those MPs.
How important is it for you to balance the Liberal Conservative wings of the National Party? And can you see a bit of that with the promotion of Tom Muller and Chris Bishop and Wallace?
Do you know, Henry, the National Party is a broad church. We have people of more liberal persuasion, and we have people of more conservative persuasion. I mean, I'm often classified as a conservative, which if you look at my voting record on social issues, apparently I'm now a liberal. So I think, we tend to have a whole range of people in there. We have people who are very conservative Christians, we have people who are conservative Sikhs, we have, we're whatever. But we also have people who are far more liberal in their views. We have to be a broad church. We're the National Party, we're not we're not the Labour Party, we're the National Party.
And with Simon Bridges and Shane Retier in your top 5, are you confident this is going to put to bed any concerns around the racial diversity within your caucus?
Well, we've never had a concern. Everyone here is promoted on their talent, their work ethic, and what they bring to our team.
So then being promoted had nothing to do with the last several weeks where you were lauded for not having enough racial diversity at the top?
No, I don't generally give in to pressure.
And on that level conservative
Yeah.
divide, are you worried that Nikki Kay and Amy Adams are going to stand at bearers of liberalism from the National Party? Would be the departure this morning. Are you worried that some of those more liberal national voters will feel off?
I'd like to find someone more liberal than Chris Bishop.
Is this the last of the resignations from National before the election?
Oh, you never know. People make their own choices, and obviously we have a list ranking coming out in August. I'd like to hope that all the people I spoke to last night and this morning, which is everybody, that they have, when they've committed to being part of the team and they've expressed that they will be doing the very best that they can, that they take that seriously. But you never know what's going to happen in someone's life. Sometimes they have a family situation, or sometimes an opportunity comes up. You know, sometimes someone might say, you know, let's go off and head an international organisation. Maybe they want to do that. But what I've seen here is a group of people who are utterly committed.
Have you given any thoughts on who's going to take over Nikki Kay in Auckland Central? Who's going to run that city?
I've spoken this morning with the President, and I've also spoken with the regional chair, and I think that things are in train because the National Party is a machine.
So have you got any names that come to mind?
Well, it's not up for me though. We'll wait and see. There's a couple of good people. Yes.
A couple of Mala loyalists,
Yep.
Chris Bishop and Nicola Willis, close to you here in this list. Are you keeping potential dissenters close to you?
Well, you could also say that about a couple of Bridges loyalists too. These are all loyalists to the National Party, and that's what I want. But also talent, people who will work hard, have great talent, and who actually have a range of skills that I need. It's not just about one person's better than another or anything else. It's about putting together a team. And that team can't be everyone with the same skills, everyone with the same thought processes, everyone who thinks the same. As I've said many times before, diversity is also about diversity of thought. And that is what I put together. It's interesting to do this. First time I've done it. I've got a feeling it's not going to be the last eventually, but we just got to see. And I think it's really important that everybody comes together to make this happen. And you'll see that I've given the role of COVID-19 border response to Jerry Brownlee, because Jerry is someone who knows how to get stuff done.
Can I ask a question on that, on Jerry
Yes.
Brownlee and the border response? Is he the right person to do that, given he's had some border snafus of his own?
I tell you what, you only learn from your mistakes.
Will he be developing national policy in that regard? There's been, some people have said National has been quite critical of the border, hasn't been able to explain how it would run things. Is the idea that he will articulate how National would deal with the issue of the border?
Yeah, I think so. Look, Sam, Jerry Brownlee, as you know, is well known to you all. I've been in cabinet with him for years, and in caucus with him for years. Jerry Brownlee knows operational issues. He knows how to get things to work together, and I have absolute confidence in him. And the great thing is we know each other very well. We have lots of jokes. We rib each other constantly, and we can always have a laugh, and we can always disagree, and we can agree. And I have absolute confidence in him.
On Tuesday, you go up against Jacinda Ardern in the House for the
Oh
first
yes,
time.
I am too.
How are you feeling? Are you excited, afraid, or how would you characterise your mood around that one?
Do you know, it's just another day, isn't it?
Well, I mean, no, because you've got this new role, so to speak. I mean, it's not really just another day. It's the beginning of an era for you, isn't it?
Yeah. I always say to newer MPs when they're up in the House in question time, you don't have to try and take someone out on a day. It's not like that. It's actually just about presenting the opposition's questions in a reasoned and serious way, and actually getting some answers. I actually quite like her to give some answers occasionally. That would be helpful. No, hang on, Benedict. Yep.
Do you think National's really looking like a credible alternative government at the moment, given the bad behaviour we've seen with demotions and all the resignations that keep coming?
Oh, it's great. It's absolutely fabulous. This is a winning team. My hardest issue with this was who didn't get into the shadow cabinet. I had so many choices. It's such a wealth of talent, And, you know, at least I don't have the problem that Jacinda Ardern's got.
How have you found that process, those first 24 hours trying to put together that reshuffle? Was there anything you didn't expect that popped up?
Do you know, I didn't expect I'd enjoy it so much.
There's only 2 females in the top 12.
Oh, right.
So you have a lot to choose from.
I do, yeah.
Why only 2 women?
Well, as you all know, that if you go into 12, the National Party doesn't have, just like the Labour Party, any more women than we've got. We've just lost, we're losing senior MPs, women MPs like Nikki Kay and Amy Adams and Paula Bennett, and Tolly is leaving and is still in as Deputy Speaker, and I've spoken to her as well. She's very happy to do that, and it makes total sense. She's highly competent actually in that role. We're losing some people who have decided of their own accord to leave. That therefore means I need to look at experience elsewhere, but I have never been someone who feels that we have to appoint people on the basis of gender. I don't think I've ever been appointed on the basis of gender, but I do believe absolutely that we have to have the right people for the job. You know, I look at the Prime Minister's problems. She's got Megan Woods as one of the very few highly competent women ministers that she's got. I've got actually quite a few.
What about the campaign chair role, and also another question about your office, have any decisions been made there?
Yeah, so the campaign chair will continue to be Jerry Brownlee. He will be working very closely with my office and me, but I am not a hands-on micromanager. I really trust people to do their job. They know what the result is I want, and their job's to go off and do it. And that actually suits someone like Jerry, because he likes to just get it done too, and that's great. We also have Todd McClay will be working very closely with Jerry, as he's done in the past. We will also, the office, I'm not expecting any changes there, other than what already signalled before I came in. I've said to all the staff in the office, so no resignations I'm aware of. I've told the staff, they've all got jobs, we're all on the same team, let's just keep moving. I don't want to see wholesale losses and things like that. I will, however, signal that there is one big promotion in the staff, and that is Julie Johnston, who many of you know. And Julie Johnston has worked with me and the National Party the last time we were in opposition. She's also worked with me in government. She worked with Amy Adams in government. She's worked with other ministers in government, and she's worked with me here. You all know Julie is a highly competent and reliable person. She will be Deputy Chief of Staff working with Megan. And everyone else, I think, is pretty much the same.
Are you confident, Judith Moss, that this new lineup will cauterise any leaks from your caucus against you?
Well, it would be nice, but I'm not going to get distracted. Well, I'm not going to go hunting people who want to leak. I think there are many caucus colleagues will probably want to do that. My view is, don't worry about that. Don't get distracted. This is all about the people of New Zealand. And the moment we keep going on about who's doing that and who's doing what, you just lose focus. I'm not interested in it. I just think, just do the job.
What about that national MP who said yesterday that you have been disloyal to everyone?
Yes. Well, I'm sure that people will wonder about somebody like that, and I can't be bothered with it. I just think you don't stay 18 years in Parliament with a team like the National Party because you don't do your job well. And I'm not going to be bothering with that nonsense. The other thing is, I think one of the big issues is, Tova, if someone can't put their name to it, why would I take any notice of them?
Just saying,
Henry.
ambitious people who have access to the media, and that's just going to happen in your part.
Well, I think I've got 55 ambitious people, and particularly those who are staying. The only reason to be here is for us to get back into government so they can do a better job for the people of New Zealand. They're not trying to undermine us, because it only works against them in the end. We are only 2 months out from election. We have to keep focused. I'm not going to get distracted by nonsense. I am utterly focused on us and the election day.
Do you have any slogan ready?
Oh, well, we have slogans. Just wait and see. Jerry's in charge of all that, and he works with me, but he's in charge of it.
In terms of your approach to
Yes.
the campaign,
Mhm.
obviously you said that there won't be wholesale changes with policy and with staff, but will the approach to the campaign be different
Well, there will be. There's obviously a different style in the leadership, and I think that you'll find it very straightforward and everything else. Everyone has their own styles. As you probably know from me, I'm quite direct in what I say and I do, and that's the way it is. Jerry is too, so it's all good. We'll just be very straight, very direct, and you'll see I will be making a major announcement. Today is Thursday, isn't it? Yep. Tomorrow.
Is 2 months enough time to prepare for an entirely new portfolio, some of these big health education?
Yeah, we're clever people. And someone like Shane Retty is not just a medical doctor. I mean, we've seen medical doctors. Some are brilliant, some are not so brilliant in the role of politics. Shane Retty is standout performer in the National Party with absolute respect from that whole caucus. There's nobody you could ever find to say a bad word about Shane Retty anywhere. You look at his work ethic, if you look at his policy ability, you look at the way that he's prosecuted from opposition his portfolios and the government ministers. He is not only an excellent medical doctor, but he is an excellent politician. And, someone like that, what does he need to learn that he doesn't already know?
What's tomorrow's announcement in regards to?
Oh, are we announcing that yet, Dave? No, you'll have to wait and see. There will be a media announcement. You will want to turn up.
Who would you regard as being the members of your kitchen cabinet, so to speak, that's often talked about in politics?
Yeah, well, we've got. I'm still going to talk to some people today, but I would say this: we're down to the campaign team basically, and the campaign team is where we're moving into. And everyone we'll still have front bench. We'll still have but that's really shadow cabinet meetings. So we'll do with all that through the campaign period. I mean, we've only got 3 weeks? Is it 3 weeks? 4 weeks of the House? I mean, who cares? I've spoke to Todd Muller yesterday. He is very happy with what he's got coming. Because he's such a trade expert. And he is going to have probably about 3 weeks. He might come back earlier, but about 3 weeks. I'm going to give him that space. I think he is a standout person, and I actually think one of the nicest people in politics.
How's it holding up?
Sorry?
How's he holding up?
He sounded pretty good yesterday.
Do you expect Hamish will return to the House for his last 3 weeks? Or is he...
I don't know what Hamish is going to do in his next 3 weeks. I mean, Hamish, obviously, I've reached out to Hamish. He has, stood down he was announced his retirement as at the election. That stands, as far as I'm aware, and certainly I think that is what is happening. We'll see whether or not he turns up. He might and he might not. I would also be very aware of the fact that Hamish has gone through a very difficult time, and I'm not going to be pushing people to turn up when they are dealing with very difficult personal circumstances just so that I can say, look, they've turned up. Okay.
The people of Caucus Southland vote to have their MP in Parliament.
Many people would say electorate, the people of Caucus Southland, like every other electorate, loves to have their MP in their area.
How's Hamish Walker holding up?
Well, when I last spoke to Hamish, it's deeply troubled times. Obviously, it's put no bones about it. He is a young MP, well, young to me, inexperienced, first term. He has a wife and baby. I feel very much for him.
But sorry, I'm just trying to get to the subtext here. Are you saying that he's not really coping with what's happening?
I feel very strongly that we need to give Hamish his privacy, and I'm sure he is coping. The issue is no MP going through this sort of difficulty needs for me to be talking about them other than that they are human beings who are going through tough times. Clearly, anybody in that situation would be going through a tough time.
Will we continue to see a couple of national MPs retire every week?
Well, hopefully not. But what I've noticed in politics is that every time someone retires, it opens up an opportunity for another person. And I've seen MPs come and go, and what I've noticed is that it doesn't matter how good someone is, there's always someone else coming through with other skills and attributes and with a drive and energy. This is a high energy workplace. And if anyone feels that they are better suited elsewhere, they will sometimes take those decisions because it takes a massive toll on people's lives, their health, both mental and physical, and also on their families. And it's certainly many of our MPs, and I'll just speak for our own and national because I know more of their backgrounds, have given up a lot to be here, both in terms of income, opportunities and their privacy. And I understand why people sometimes do choose that.
It's been a big 2 days. How are you holding that?
Oh, I just love it. Yeah, and I've been really buoyed by the positive comments not only from the media but my caucus colleagues and from former MPs, former leaders. I was quite surprised with a few. It's like, yes, and Bill English, and John was very, very positive. We obviously won't talk about that, but he's very, very positive, and he's loving it.
What did you think of your book?
Well,
Did you talk about
we didn't actually. Strangely enough, we're talking about other things too, but I'm sure he loves the fact I wrote a book. I think he must have bought one.
He won the South Island doing up representation in the top
Yeah.
right, other than Jerry Brown, everyone else is from the North Island.
Oh, look, I think the South Island is great, and you know, you can't get so hung up about it that you can't just put the right people in for the job. Jerry Brownlee is he's sort of, you know, larger than life in every way. He's great. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Oh, and please feel free to have sausage rolls and things. I know you guys don't feed yourselves properly.
Thanks for working on